if we take a look at the recent performances by students in national examinations, it has once again raised conversations about the standard of education in Nigeria. Let's take a look at Osun State, which has proudly emerged as the leading state that are producing the highest scoring candidates in 2026. I think when I saw the list, I saw Lagos, I saw Ogun, I saw Anambra, I saw Edo, but Osun State came, I think, 2 or 3 times, and it's very impressive, I must say. And while some stakeholders are commending these improvements recorded in this year's UTME, some are insisting that more work still needs to be done, probably in the area of infrastructure, teachers' welfare and quality, even student preparation. Because if we compare private and public institutions, in terms of preparation, it is totally different, we must say. And I'm a testament to that because I attended a public school. But the big question here is, what do you think exactly contributed to these impressive performances? Because every candidate, at least the first 10, scored above 300. And that's actually impressive for the various courses that are available. What do you think led to this?
Yes, you see, Osun State, by the time I look at their success rate, 71%, first of its kind in this era within the Southwest. Even the Ekiti State that used to be the father of education in the Southwest, you can see where they are. And this is not far-fetched from the political will of whomever is a political leader there. I have my empirical fact that I will put up this morning, and the fiscal, financial prudency of an individual within the sectors, because without finance. And I look at Osun State, when I look at the demographic performance, the female-led, I think about 60-something% ahead the male, but combination of the two, they are taking 7th position across the federation, first in the Southwest. You look at it and you look at the access to, from the government angle, environment that he has created for the private institution to thrive within the school. 2, within the public institution, there are assessments to counterpart funding that will determine the grassroots education of the coming youth. Because Osun State, since the advent of Adeola have never go down the line of assessing the counterpart funding. The funding where 50% will come from the state government, 50% from the federal government, to the UBEC, that is Universal Basic Education Commission. You now assess the money to augment various things in your state. If you look at it from inception of this Adeola administration, he has never come out. You have some states, they will be there, sometimes they will not be there. 2 times they will be there, 3 times they will not be there. But this man has been consistent, just like Sokoto State, he has been consistent, and he monitored the spending of the money. And most of this, by the time you collect this money, spending of this money, he has renovated more than 1,500 schools within Osun State, renovating and building within Osun State, because he segments everything into 3 areas. That is physical infrastructure within education area. That is what he did. Secondly, he look at the capacity building and staff welfare. Then the third one is the student access to fund in area of need, like student loan and what have you. I now look at what he did, and I begin to look at some investments. Maybe you are traveling within your car, you see any eatery or whatever. The place is so beautiful, you were like, oh, let me see what is happening here. You come down out of your vehicle, you enter, you now discover that the staff will say, welcome sir, what do you want to buy? You don't have intention of buying anything, but because of the beauty of the environment, you now go in, you see the action of the staff towards you, the way they treat you. Now, okay, let me even look at your product. The product become appealing to you. You won't know where you will buy what you don't want to buy. That is exactly what happened in Osun State. If you look at the first demograph, more than 150 schools were being renovated. He used that to complement what Ogbeni Aregbe did before. And you now see most of the school very beautiful. Even this access to the federal government access to fence the school. he also embarked on it in the most of the rural area, meaning that the school is appealing to an individual. He now go to the payment of staff salary as of when due, and better salary comparatively. Comparatively, I underlined. I'm not saying Osun payment is the best in Nigeria, but comparatively, he went up and he pays it as of when due. From there, he undergo the staff development and training. They go on retreats. I have my father, I've checked everything. They go on retreat in order to update their knowledge and skill. You now see the morale of how the teacher will now dish out what they want to do in a beautiful environment. He still went as far as giving bursary and what is necessary. If I tell you in entrepreneurship development, Osun State took second in the whole of nation skill acquisition within the youth in Nigeria. And even spending of this education development planned fund, they gave they make an assessment, and the governor was awarded with was given an award for prudent spending of the funding. That is to tell you that if you spend as expected, you increase the morale of your teachers and you give them what is expected of them. Consistent spending, you have the result, and that is the result you are getting. Notwithstanding, they still need to do more, especially at the rural area, because if UNICEF and World Bank were telling us that I think 18.5 million Nigeria are out of school, and concentrated in the northern part, cut across Nigeria including south, you are there in the rural area. It means also have to do more within its rural area in order to still emerge consistent in the way of performance. So we are giving it to the governor for having a political will in that area of education, according to my own assessment.
All right, thank you so much. You actually spotlighted other segments that we need to talk about. You mentioned the counterpart funding that the governor actually took advantage of, and you also mentioned this improvement, particularly in the area of the private institutions. But there are people who will still say that there is this sort of dichotomy in terms of performance amongst the private and the public school students. But those who even got these high scores, if you take a look, they are from private schools. Majority of them. But what do you think can be done for those in public schools to actually attain this level of success? Because if you check the curriculum, there is nothing so different in terms of the curriculum. I think what is different is in terms of dishing out the knowledge, the mode at which it is being done, and even the will of the teachers. These are some of the things that needs to be done. But how can we transition from this minimal record of success in public schools to meet that of private schools?
Actually, without much stress from distinguishing between Peter and Paul, we have to give appreciation to the governor for enabling environment which we have done to the private school. Notwithstanding, if you look at the decay in public school within Nigeria, it will take a determined and more determined minded political office holder to change the mindset of individual staff, teachers, extraordinary work by the political office holder to change their mindset to what is expected. For the fact that this man released all what we have said the other time to create enabling environment for the teachers, do you think you won't believe that there were staff that were still found wanting within Osun State, probably not going to school as expected time, lateness, and what have you. And if you ask them to go to this private school that perform, they will tell you the salary is meager. And majority of them still have opportunity to train and retrain themselves, and at the same time to continue their education. You won't believe, if you vet very well, I know of about 3 PhD holders in Osun Secondary School, and we have more of them. If they now have opportunity and ability to develop themselves, are you developing yourself for a better place more than where you are? What gave you that opportunity? You know, whatever job we are doing is a trust. Just make sure you perform. If you know you are not okay with that place, it is better you leave it for somebody that will do it. So what I'm saying in essence is that irrespective of what any of the state governors would do, they still need to checkmate through each of their segments, like the Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Education should narrow it down in order to do better. And I will appeal, whoever succeed any political office holder like a governor in a state, either the same or different party, they should look at the manifesto that is operating, especially as academy is concerned. This is something you should not toy on. Academy and heads, look at the manifesto. What did you have on ground? If it match each other from different party, please just continue. If it doesn't match, whatever somebody has done, if it is about 45% completion, do it. Exactly. So that if we say this youth is our tomorrow, and you now neglect the public academic cycle, what kind of youth are you expecting? And if you look at the private and public, you have more of students in public school choke because of the situation of paying school fees or whatever, poverty and what have you. Now school fees is increasing. People doesn't want to go to private. They want to go to private, but they don't have the money. It is public school that is being shook. Everybody is going there. And if public now refuse to give what is expected, then what kind of system are we building in the country? The little one that got what they need in terms of certificates will tell you, because they have opportunity to go to private school, they will go abroad. Is this somebody from the rural area that managed to go through public primary secondary school, who doesn't have opportunity to go to higher institution, will tell you you want to go abroad? So the best of it is for the political office holder to still do more, especially in Osun State, where we have 7 from the federation and the private school is taking the highest mark. So many things are wrong in that area, but from information we gather, the political office holder have done the finance and ability to train and retrain. Then it is the seal. What other thing are you going to put together in order for this seal to be kept together and for them to be able to deliver? Because I know we in our public school, we have the academia that can deliver, that can give what it takes for students to know what they are doing. But in a situation where you don't have the mindset to do that, it is not too good.
It will be difficult. And to add to that, I think community members, parents, old student associations should also, even private sector should also contribute, not just funding. Seminars can be organized to encourage, and these teachers, it is something that can be done, not just in Osun State, but
you are very correct.
In states around the federation.
The so-called PTA is fading out. If you look at PTA, it is money, contribute, and they will be supporting private and public school that, yes, the student need to contribute. What are they doing with the money? Gone are those days. In our own PTA school in the 80s, if your father in the public school, if your father is a carpenter and the school window or door is bad or the locker, they will be the one to do it on personal volition. This time is contribution. So the community need to do more in order to increase the morale. And we have such community who normally, even at this critical moment, they normally give house free of charge to most of the teacher in community, because I have somebody who serve more or less like a son, and they say where he serve in Oyo State, they did not even collect money for the accommodation, and most of those people, they go to farm and come, they will give him oranges, banana and whatever.
Way of encouragement.
Exactly, fruit, exactly. So all these things, the community are doing their own, but they need to do more in terms of the focus of the PTA to be more than financial level.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Adeyanju Adeola. Now let's take a look at counterpart funding. Despite the huge intervention opportunities that has been made available to from UBEC to states across Nigeria, it is reported that the 2024 report states that 27 out of the 36 states have failed to access the fund, and in 2023, 21 billion only out of the 51.6 billion naira allocated by the government, by the federal government for education intervention was accessed by only 16 states. Now, I want you to, explain the benefits of this counterpart funding and how it works. Probably those who are hearing it at home might not really understand what it means, but what the government need to do to actually utilize these funds effectively, because it is beyond just accessing the fund.
Actually, you see, the non-state actor that brought out that is Plan International Nigeria.
Yes.
Plan International Nigeria is a non-governmental, not-profit organization based in UK.
Yes.
And they have their domicile area in about 80 countries across the world. Africa is part of it, America and Asia.
Yes.
Nigeria happens to be one of the Africa countries. And from the information getting to them means that the counterpart bond fund has not been assessed as expected. What is counterpart fund? Counterpart fund is such money that the federal government and the state government will put together, and each of the states will put its own percentage of the money in the fund through the agency of federal government established. You now assess this fund as a result of your own contribution. If you have this money, spending of the money will be monitored by this agency. Probably, maybe that is the reason why most of the state governors were running away, because they appreciate a money that will come to them and they will determine the spending. But this money is majorly on education. And if you look at this non-state actor that says something, their whole area, their thematic area is on child education.
Yes.
And most of genders based issue.
Yes.
So they put up this information and they said it just like you have read, that in 2014 about only 9 states accessed this fund. In 2014, meaning that about 27 states could not access it. And in 2023, 41% of the money were assessed, meaning that about 59 or thereabout were still there untapped, simply because some states did not bring their own. And if you look at a state like Kano and Osun State that we are talking about, they never forget, they never run out of paying this money since they have been there. They pay the money. Meaning that if you pay this money, most of what we said about the physical structure of the school system,
yes,
which is the primary, especially primary schools, that is the function of local government, will be run through the state and local government. Though we have a constitutional issue in that area where I didn't agree, if time permit I'll be able to say it. Then most of this money, apart from the physical structure, payment of staff stipend and some other payment that of when do training and retraining of the staff and activities that involve students in the school, probably debate, international debate. This is where you assess the fund, and you discover that if material is available, the teachers were happy, things will move on as expected. But there's no way you will assess this fund that will not go to where it is expected. If you refuse, because by the time you are given a written document on how the money is being spent, there will be a physical assessment from the government department. And this department are so efficient, you have never seen one time where an EFCC will run after them that they have connived with a particular state. I don't know how they are doing their working, and if any state refuse to spend as expected, you'll be queried. So as a result of that, there is no room for independent spending. You can see numbers of states that have not assessed them. Even Federal Capital Territory still fall in this pit. I got surprised when I discovered that Lagos were still part of the state that could not assess as expected because they could not pay that counterpart funding. Though Lagos is developing school notwithstanding, then where are they getting the money? Are they spending it judiciously? Is there any transparency? If a monitoring, a parent body that will monitor your assessment as oversight, you did not allow them to come in. So most of the physical structure we are seeing, it means the money you spend is more than what it is expected. Notwithstanding, this counterpart funding has been established, I think, some years back, about 2-3 decades ago. You now discover that not up to 25% of the state that's supposed to assess it were assessing. The money is just there, sitting down, refuse to tap. And most of these states that refuse to tap, the result is coming to them. The state that is leading out of those states that refuse to tap it is Imo State. About 10 billion were there for them to pay before they will assess the money. Because if you fail last year, you can't say you want to pay for this year. You have to augment everything together. Followed by Ogun State. If most of these states now refuse to pay and you now neglect the youth education, what are we now saying about tomorrow? And if I could remember vividly, Frano said something about youth education. He said the best way to improve a nation is to spend well on the youth, and the best way to damage a nation is to neglect the youth education. Now, if you now assess what the federal government even budgets as far as the central education is concerned, does it go in line with the one back requirements or the UNICEF requirement on education. Now, if the answer is no, which we all know the percentage of the budget, and the subnational that's supposed to assess certain amounts to augment education at the subnational level refuse to pay their counterpart funding, are you now telling me they will take it out of the existing budget to augment? They will not do it. And that is why you see a lot of things that is operating in our educational system. And if you look at this counterpart funding, the act that came upon this counterpart funding was extracted from the Constitution, section 6 subsection CC. Section 6 subsection 6C. This constitutional create a kind of lacuna that make it difficult for most of the public to compel the state government or federal government in child education. We can't compel them because it's too open, it's too watery, it's too slippery. They gave it in a way that we make it for the public to compel them. We will have been making reference to it, but situation must demand, rationale demand that education is very important, and most of them put it in their music on daily basis that education, they will support the child education. If you now refuse to do that, look at the numbers of people that are out of school due to one reason or the other, and poverty, according to the Plan International Nigeria, they say poverty is number one thing that make people to be out of Nigeria. That poverty means that some people could not pay school fees. Some people did not have school uniform, school shoes in order to attend. If this counterpart fund is being paid as expected, most of this rural area will have been enhanced and most of the youth will be in school.
Now, Dr. Adeyanju, let's take a look at this lacuna you've mentioned. Is very critical, and it seems as though since they are not assessing it, the federal government is just docile about it. Don't you think that instruments like the legislature need to be involved in this to make stringent or create stringent systems to monitor state government to ensure that they actually, this thing is very simple.
Of course.
I want to improve my education, and I meet you. I say, okay, this is what I want to do, and you told me that you have so amount to give me, that I should get half of it, and you bring an intermediary between us to handle the whole processes. This is exactly how it is. And what measures can the legislature, the government, need to put in place to compel the state government to access these funds?
This question reminds me that sometimes I look at it as if the legislatures cut across the tiers of government, federal and state, are the instrument of executive. If not, you are the one that will formulate that law. Transmit it to the public, let us consume it, so that we hold somebody responsible. FOI bill is there. It has died naturally because most of the state refuse to key in. Why is it difficult for them to make this law? But it is, the answer is not far-fetched. Look at what happened in the local government issue. The Supreme Court says something about local government that they must have autonomy. But the legislature refused to visit that section of the Constitution that hang local government's life on the neck of the state governor and make them to become emperor. And what is that section? If you look at section 7 subsection 1 of Nigeria Constitution, enhance local government to be a democratically elected member, which we have the chairman. Then section 7 subsection C said that their funding must come from the federal legislative arm, which is coming also. But when they now go to section 162, it now said there must be a joint account. That is where the balance is hanging.
There's no more autonomy.
Exactly. The same thing applicable to this law. And just like you have said, if the legislatures, if they are not the cronies of the executive, they're supposed to have made such law that will make the public benefit from whatever policy they are bringing out.
Thank you so much. Well, we'll have to go on another commercial break. When we come back, we'll take a look at what we discussed earlier in the week, the exemption of education and agriculture courses from UTME. I think we need to dissect it so people will understand. I think there is a misconception about it, about whether it is education courses in the university or NCE. People are going for NCE and polytechnics who offer agricultural-based courses. This is still National Affairs. We'll discuss this when we come back from this commercial break. Do not go anywhere. All right, so welcome back from that commercial break. You're still listening to your Shining Supreme station. Well, let's take a look at the growing debate over the proposal to exempt candidates that are seeking admission into some education and agriculture-related courses from writing the UTME examination. Those who are in support of it are arguing that the move could actually encourage more students to go into the education line, as many believe that the teaching profession is no more popular the way it used to be, and also agriculture as well, to encourage young people to delve into the agricultural sector. Now, these two sectors are very key and essential for national development, but there are those who are criticizing this new move. They are afraid that it would actually lower the standard of education in the country and also worsen the concern about teachers' quality, because they are saying that if we reduce the quality or the standard of admission, then it also speaks about the outcome. What kind of teachers are we producing? These are some of the arguments that many have raised, but I want you to give us a clear explanation of this and also the benefits and also some downsides to this particular policy.
Thank you very much, Nedu. You see, to start with, at the universities level, the situation remains the same on education. You're going to have your JAMB if you want to go for 100 level university education course.
Yes.
And for polytechnic, agric non-engineering related discipline are the one that will not go through JAMB. And like me, I believe we have some people in that sector of agric who doesn't have formal education like our forefather, and they don't even have the modern implement to work, and they sustain on farming alone. Meaning that with the current hybrid system, if you go to school without JAMB and you have the seal to embark on agriculture, you produce more. Then on the side of education, some people might criticize it that if somebody refuses to go through JAMB before going for NCE, and this kind of these categories of people will be the one teaching somebody that will go for JAMB. How will you give what you don't know? I believe the federal government refused to look for the reason that caused problem in education, but notwithstanding, that solution they are bringing will still work if the way grade 2 were faced off. And NC, if you come through NC now, you have your caps, but you will not write JAMB. Meaning that with your NC, it's not a ticket for you to believe and sit down that yes, I have my degree. Something is still expected, because you'll be faced with series of challenges, especially those people that went direct to university on the same education you have in your NC. You still compete in the market with those people that have NC. After their NC, they did their direct entry to have double certificates. So there will be many competition in private and public, and even if you are an owner of a particular school, somebody is coming with first degree in university, somebody is having NCE with degree, and somebody just having NCE alone. Who will you take? So it's just an ability for people to have more skill in order to progress academically. Because a time will come up with this system, naturally, if you have NCE alone, people will just look at you that you're having an advanced secondary school. So it will be an ability, and for you to undergo such training, 3 years in NCE, 4 years in university, making 7 years, you will have gotten something in you. Why I try to fault federal government is that they want more people to enroll in school, especially on NCE, but they refuse to look at the reason that is making people not to enroll. They only open that bracket window that it will make people to come in. Yes, it will make them to come in, but a longer route for individual that is coming in. That aspect is supposed to look is to look at what is making people running out of school. The cost of living, the payments in any higher institution of learning on daily basis. Private institutions were increasing their fee, and federal government cannot checkmate them, because they know that the labor market they will go, fuel is increasing. Even if products that you buy as a producer will not increase. The cost of transportation will make it to increase at the end of the day. Putting 2 and 2 together, you see 4 elsewhere, and you now see students traveling from all the way from Oyo State to Sokoto State for education. Transport to and fro alone is almost 100,000 naira before you feed how much are they collecting as salary. Putting this together, people will run out of school. Minus cultural system that makes some area to believe that I don't want to go to school. That one is minor. And sensitization, thank God to media and civil society sensitization that are making people to go to school in that area. But another aspect that we have to look is the issue of inequality. Inequality in the sense that those people that are sitting on the policy of our fund, most of the policy they are formulating is for certain categories of people. They have their own policy. If you look at most of their children, they are not schooling in Nigeria. If they were being compared by law for their own children to school in Nigeria, there will be that habitable system that will make everybody to go to school, because the school will entice everybody to go. But they only neglect that sector and use the little more, the money that is available for everybody, pack it within their own hand. And you tell me that some political office holder within 3 years that is sending his children abroad only sustain on what is coming, the legal money that is coming to him. So if all this area is being checked very well, and the issue of inequality is being reduced, the issue of poverty is being reduced, and the issue of insecurity, if you look at the northern part of Nigeria where you have many students out of school, is as a result of insecurity. The one that just happened in Oyo State just yesterday, a lot of people were killed, teachers were killed, people were kidnapped. As a result, you still see people out of school. The school has been closed. So putting all this, the fear will be there within society, and if not, I will still repeat it, media and civil society that sensitize people in the village, because you can see them taking a phone of 3,500, they will be able to listen to most of the information in their local language, that they will know that the school that is being closed is temporary. If not for the media, some people in the village will think the whole school in Nigeria has been closed down. They won't know it's a segment of a particular state. So putting all this together, government still need a lot to do, especially the AFCC that are taking people from club and wherever. They should go down to higher institution, to the grassroots institution, and see where the money is being plugged to that is not making things to work effectively.
Wow, thank you so much for your wealth of wisdom. Sincerely, I really appreciate you for dissecting this issue. Now, one particular issue, still talking about the education discipline. Not the sector, the education discipline. In Nigeria, what we have is that when someone graduates, depending on the course, let's say courses in the arts, sciences, and social sciences, you see that most people, the first job they get is the teaching job, probably through NYSC. I also went through that process. But there is this reluctance amongst our youths to actually study courses in education, educational management, guidance and counseling, and the rest. They feel it is downgrading to actually become a teacher. In fact, when I was young, if you asked me, would you be a teacher, I would say no. But later, I actually enjoyed it. But what do you think is making young people to run away from the teaching profession? It is no more enticing. Our teachers back then, they enjoyed it.
Yes, it is becoming a systemic thing, and we still make reference to government. Because you have some countries, even in Africa here, go to South Africa, you discover that the way a manner teacher is being treated, we are almost at par the way a medical doctor is being treated. But a situation where you see a teacher whose physique and output doesn't sound appealing, by the time you take 10 of them, about 7 at a blink were living a kind of life that is not appealing. Will it be a kind of seal for somebody coming up that I want to be a teacher? I think the government have to look at that angle, then couple with the situation on ground, just like you have said, that somebody who study maybe public administration, that are supposed to be in admin, were now taken to school to come and teach English. You know, you are putting a round peg in a square hole, which will not function as expected. But that education study, make it more important and appealing to people, you have more people coming there. And if they are putting out their jurisprudence the way they're supposed to put it, the seal will be there. Every student will have the ability. From primary to secondary school, look at their curriculum. There are space for practical, and most of these practical mean that they have to travel and see some things. While a student of a pupils of primary school will be taken to medical hospital, you see them putting up their children, they will take into engineering outfit, they will be taken to schools to come and study. Take all of them to this different area. Immediately they come back, somebody of 5 years of age will get appeal to what is happening at the hospital and engineering outfit than what is happening in the school. Because when you see most of the school, they are so bushy, and the cycle will be like, do I want to be like this person? So government should still do something there. If you now do it very well, you now discover that most of those people that are running not to become a teacher will be enticed to be a teacher. Because we have a lot to display. Nigeria have many talents, but we are only killing the talent because of our systemic failure.
Now, let's take a look at some other factors that limit children to access education, or that hampers education. We face serious challenges of social vices and all that, child pregnancy, drug abuse, out of school children and all that. Now, in response to this, some stakeholders have proposed mandatory drug testing for secondary school students as part of, efforts to curb substance abuse and promote discipline. Now, this particular policy is actually it's a good initiative, and we talked about it the last time, but how can this policy go a long way in ensuring that drug abuse is limited? Not just going a long way, there are also issues where when a policy is being announced and the implementation has started, there is also abuse of that policy by those who are enforcing it, probably due to wrong enforcement. How should they balance this?
You see, an idle hand is the devil's workshop. We have a lot of malicious knowledge in Nigeria that can be transformed into ethical one, but the way we see things is that we never look at the situation that give effect to drug abuse. It is the drug abuse alone we talk about. Something push people to be taking drug, something push them to be party type. If you narrow this thing inwardly and you now go across the street, individual home, you see a lot of students whose parents have struggled for them to go to school 5-6 years, they have not gotten job, and the environment is not enabling for some of them to put up any business. Be sincere in Nigeria today. Even if you take a non-interest loan and somebody give you 15 million as you are sitting down here to go and put up a business, unless if you have a business plan in the past 5 years that you want to practice, even with that, event will have overtake it, maybe most of the system, because you didn't put up the gestuality on time. You may not understand it. Look at the guy that was selling pure water on the street. One company came and gave him a lot of money, about 20 million, and he opened a warehouse where you now have bottled water. After some months, when they go back to him, nothing again. Exactly. So the environment must be habitable to enhance people not to take drug. And most of these people are under pain. Even they felt pity for their parents who have spent a lot on them. So as a result of that, they engage in most of these social vices. So drug abuse, drug test, yes, I have said a lot last time that it is good, the measure government put down in order to checkmate it. But in administration, we talk of cause and effect. When you talk of effect, you want to mitigate it. What is the cause, the root cause of that thing? Why can't you tackle the root cause? Let bear the job for everybody. Everybody cannot get government job, but if you enhance private sector, if there is electricity, now the federal government say they want to borrow more money, is generating debate. Out of what borrowing they are going upon, electricity is part of what they want to solve. We have been borrowing in this administration and past administration, and even Obasanjo administration, $16 billion is there on electricity. I said it one time when Jonathan said he want to remove subsidy. He removed it a little bit. People were shouting, Buhari come there, remove it a little bit. I said it, listen to my voice even in this platform. I said, whatever they want to remove, let them remove it at a go. Whatever they want to borrow in electricity, let them borrow it, fix the electricity. You now see most of the people that are out of school, out of job, will be coming back. But those people that want to make a sacrifice for 4 years university and go for service will tell you that if I make a sacrifice, will my life be better off? And there will be 2-3 examples given to you, like look at this graduate, look at this. You yourself will now look at Nigeria, that what is the platform on them. I'm not blaming one administration, is every administration. So the drug test is okay, but we have to look at the root cause.
All right, now one final question. There is this shift, will I call it shift, from the conventional educational system to vocational educational system for some past years. Right now you will see many people saying, even as you are going to school, ensure you have a handwork, like an entrepreneurship skill you have. Now even in secondary schools, it is being encouraged. Now, will you encourage a young person who just left secondary school or who is still in secondary school? Will you encourage a young person to pursue academic qualifications or vocational qualifications?
Combination of the two, I will support 100%. But with a condition, Nigeria should be careful. Whatever job they want to learn, money should not be forced. Even including the parent that will be expecting the child that, yes, you've started. Look at somebody has been bringing something home. And that is why you now see that they will be looking for every means to get money. And they will be half-baked. The way we have half-baked in education, you have it in that entrepreneurship as well.
Without being competent.
Exactly. Look at the TVET introduced by the federal government, that is a training vocational system in most of the polytechnic in Nigeria now. They are giving them money if you want to go on solar, if you want to go on clothes sewing, and that is why Osun State performed excellently in that entrepreneurship development, because most of their people, their students went there, and by the time they begin to showcase and make sample within federation, they took first or second. I support that, but with condition from the parents that will make such person to face whatever he's doing.
There shouldn't be pressure.
Yes, and as a result of that, you now see somebody in elect first degree will be able to fix bulb and do everything the way it is expected.
Wow, thank you so much. Let's open the phone lines quickly before we round off on the program. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Nedu.
Yes, please, good morning.
This is going to that journey.
Thank you so much.
If you concerning the Adeyanju in Osun, you know that governor is not a self-centered governor at all. You know that they were denied local government funds. Still, the man still picking. He did everything accordingly. One man came out. He said they wanted to vote. But he said one thing this morning. He said that Adeyanju really worked. Look at it, the Adeyanju really worked in Osun. No, he can never deny forever. But he wants to do more than he did. Now, tell me, it's because they are done well. If not, he could not condemn him at all.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Godwin, for your contributions. And other governors who are not doing well should also emulate, of course, from Governor Adeola. This message says, my name is Saka Oniyomuritala from Alori. I greet you in the studio. Any government that invests in education, the government is the best government, because investment in education is like investing in our future. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, this is General calling from Ilori.
You're welcome, General.
Yes, I hope you can hear me clearly.
Please go ahead.
Yes, I want to ask two questions. The analyst, our analyst.
Please go ahead.
Why is it that, if, for example, if a government comes and make a policy, and that policy is better for the masses, and the next government that will come, you will not hear of that policy again. The reason why I'm saying this, what happened to school feeding in Nigeria? You know, school feeding, it was going on. I think it was during the time of late Muhammadu Buhari that he introduced school feeding. Then now, it's no longer existing again. What happened?
All right. Thank you so much, General, for your question. Well,
I think the answer is just lack of political ideology from the political party, because if they have an ideology like MPN, like UPN, MPN in whatever governor in whatever state is building house, UPN is free education, everybody will be able to follow, irrespective of what the society will say that, oh, he has not initiated his own program, he's doing another person's program. They will know he's doing the program of his party. That is the only basic.
For me, I think it is lack of consensus in ideology when it comes to each party. I think from the national level, even down to the grassroots, there should be this kind of diffusion of ideology amongst every party. All right, this message is from Afobaje from Oreagbon. It says, I'm from Osun State. My head is raised high this morning. This one is from Elder Yemi Ashaju. It says, some people take to teaching not because of passion, but because there are no jobs out there, whereas teaching is a noble profession. Yes, government attitude towards the teaching profession might be wrong or bad. Nevertheless, some teachers also have their shortcomings, which gives them bad representation before the government and the public. Teaching, I must say once again, is a noble profession. Its lost glory must be brought back. I agree with that. All right, let's round off with this one. This one is from Ola from Airport. It says our educational system is in ICU. It needs emergency physicians to rescue it. Unfortunately, politicians show less concern. Thank you so much, Ola from Airport. Prince Bankole Awakajola, I sincerely apologize. And also Kolade Ayinde, I won't be taking your message, but your message is well noted. Thank you so much. Kindly give us your final take, Dr. Adeyanju.
Yeah, my final take is that if anything that is well rooted will be difficult to uproot, I want to appeal to the general society. Please let us be well rooted in our own ideology. If the party is not having an ideology, let us have our ideology and discipline that this is what we want as a nation. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much for that contribution. All right, like I was always say, let's take whatever we're doing in this country serious. Education remains one of the strongest tools for national transformation, and the future of Nigeria depends largely on how seriously we treat the education sector today. Thank you so much to everyone that contributed, to you who listened. Thank you so much. Let's do this again next week, same time, same station. My name remains Nedu Okorie. Have a wonderful day.